Look, it took me exactly 2 hours and 13 minutes to end 3 marriages, detonate 2 families, and basically salt the earth where my old life used to be. And the wildest part, I did it with a smile on my face at my own sister's baby shower, with a microphone in one hand and a Tiffany blue gift box in the other. For real. And I ain't regret a single solitary thing. But to understand how a woman like me, the quiet one, the one who always kept the peace, could do something like that. Man, you gotta understand how we got there. It all started 5 months earlier at my mama's house for Sunday dinner with a pot roast that tasted like ash in my mouth. My whole world was perfect before that pot roast, you feel me? Or at least I thought it was. I had Marcus. For 5 years, Marcus was my safe place. I ain't never been the star of my family. That was my big sister, Nicole. She was older, prettier, louder. She was the sun, and everybody else, especially me, we was just supposed to orbit around her. My parents, Chile, Nicole could get a B minus on a test and they'd act like she just cured cancer. I got a full academic scholarship to Emory, and my daddy just nodded and was like, "That's good, Ken. They'll save us some money." It was always like that. I was the responsible one, the steady one, the one they ain't have to worry about. Which really just meant I was the one they ain't have to pay attention to. But it was cool for real, because I had Marcus. He saw me. He got me. He was this big, goofy dude with a laugh that could fill up a whole room. He made me feel visible. We had our little townhouse over in Smyrna, a life we built that was ours. It was quiet and it was peaceful, and I loved it. That peace shattered the day Nicole announced she was pregnant. Everybody was so happy. My mama cried, my daddy was beaming. And I was happy for her too, you know? Her and her husband, Kevin, they'd been trying for a minute, but something felt off. And that Sunday dinner, that's when the feeling got a name. We was all sitting around my parents' big oak dining table in their house out in South DeKalb. The one with the scratch on the side from when I fell off my roller skates when I was 7. Mama had her good Corel dishes out. The smell of pot roast and onions was thick in the air, and I was just watching. I saw how Nicole, when she was telling a story, her eyes kept finding Marcus across the table. Just for a second. And I saw how Marcus would give this little tiny smile back. A smile I ain't seen in a while. Then I saw my mama. She reached over and put her hand on Marcus's arm, and she said, "You eating good, baby? Kendra taking care of you?" And the way she said it was too familiar. Too something. My stomach just started doing these slow, sick flips. I felt cold all of a sudden, even though it was hot in that dining room. I made some excuse about needing to get something from my car, but really, I just went upstairs to the bathroom to splash some water on my face. The light in the hallway was out, so it was dark up there. As I was coming out the bathroom, I heard my parents talking low in their bedroom. The door was cracked. I know, you ain't supposed to eavesdrop, but something in my gut, something primal, just made me stop and hold my breath. My daddy said he swore it was a one-time thing, Cheryl, a mistake. In my mama's voice, it was sharp like a little knife. She said, "A mistake? A mistake is forgetting to take the trash out, not this. We just gotta make sure Kendra never finds out. It would crush her." My daddy sighed, this big, heavy sound. And then he said the words that broke my whole life into a million pieces. He said, "She's strong. She'll be all right. It's Nicole we need to worry about right now. We gotta protect her and this baby." I stood there in that dark hallway, my hand over my mouth to keep from screaming. Strong. I was strong, so I could be sacrificed. I was the good daughter, the responsible one, so my heart was just collateral damage. Downstairs, I could hear them laughing about something. I could hear Marcus's laugh, that big booming laugh I used to love, and it sounded like a monster. I crept back down the stairs, slipped out the front door, and just got in my Honda Accord. I drove for an hour, I don't even know where. Just driving. The whole time, my parents' words just played on a loop in my head. A mistake. She's strong. Protect Nicole. When I finally got back to my own house, Marcus was on the couch watching ESPN. He looked up and smiled. He said, "Hey, baby, you okay? You just disappeared." And I looked at the man I had loved, the man I had built a life with, and I saw a stranger. I just nodded and said I had a headache. That night, I laid in our bed, in our room, and I felt like I was drowning. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it was going to come right out my chest. The sheets felt like sandpaper. Every time he breathed next to me, I wanted to claw my own skin off. I knew right then and there I couldn't just leave. Nah, that wasn't enough. Leaving was what they expected. They expected me to be strong and just absorb the pain and disappear. Oh no, 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 no. Something cold and hard and clear settled in my chest. They wanted a mess. I was finna give them a hurricane. But what happened next was it was like the universe was conspiring to give me the rope to hang them all with. I had no idea that the real hell was just getting started. And the first stop was Marcus's laptop. The next few weeks were like I was living a double life. I was still Kendra, the loving wife. I made him breakfast. I asked about his day at the accounting firm. I smiled and I nodded and I played my part. But when he was in the shower or after he fell asleep, I was somebody else. I was a damn detective. I started with his laptop, a silver Dell Inspiron he always left on the desk in our spare room. It was password protected, of course. I tried his birthday, nothing. I tried my birthday, nothing. I tried our anniversary, nothing. Then I closed my eyes and I thought about him, about us. And I remembered this stupid inside joke we had from our first vacation to Savannah. I typed in River Street 05 and click, I was in. Man, let me tell you, it's one thing to suspect. It's a whole other thing to see it. It was all there. A whole secret life laid out in files and folders. There were pictures, so many pictures. Them at the botanical gardens, him with his arm around her, and she was looking at him with this glow. A picture of them at some hotel, the Westin in Buckhead with champagne glasses. There was one picture of them in our bed, in my bed, the bed I was sleeping in every night. I had to go to the bathroom and throw up. I just sat on the cold tile floor, shaking, but I wasn't crying. It was weird. The part of me that could cry felt like it had been scooped out and replaced with ice. I went back to the laptop. I found the receipts, hotel rooms booked for business trips, Zelle payments to her account, hundreds of dollars at a time, with little notes like, "For my girl," and a little something for you and the peanut. Peanut. That's what he called our baby that we lost 2 years ago. The miscarriage nearly broke me, and Marcus's was the one who held me together. And now he was calling his baby with my sister the same damn thing. That's when the ice in my chest turned into fire. This wasn't just cheating. This was a desecration. This was him taking everything that was sacred to us and giving it to her. I kept digging. I got into his email, his social media, and then I found the texts. He hadn't deleted the messages between him and my mama, my own mother. She was helping them. She was his accomplice. She'd text him stuff like, "Kendra's going to be at my house all afternoon Saturday, so you two be careful." Or, "Nicole is feeling a little down today. You should call her." I'm telling you, I felt my soul just leave my body for a second. My own mama. She wasn't protecting Nicole. She was a co-conspirator. She was helping him destroy me. I spent the next 2 weeks just gathering. I bought a 2 terabyte external hard drive from Best Buy. Every night, I copied everything: photos, bank statements, hotel receipts, emails, texts. I made folders. I organized it by date. I was methodical. I was a machine. My pain was fuel, and I had a whole damn tank of it. I knew I had enough to divorce him and take him for everything he was worth. But it still didn't feel like enough. It was too quiet, too private. They did this in the dark, and I wanted to drag it all out into the blinding sun. They had made my life a public humiliation behind my back, and I was going to return the favor to their faces. I just didn't know how yet. I needed more. I needed something undeniable. And the phone call I got after that, man, it was like they handed me the loaded gun themselves. It was my mama. Her voice was all sweet, like honey and poison. She was like, "Hey, sweetie, how you doing?" I just said, "I'm fine, Mom. What's up?" And then she said it. She said, "Well, you know Nicole's baby shower is coming up, and we were all hoping that you would be the one to plan it and host it for her. You're so good at that stuff, and it would mean the world to her. To all of us." I was quiet for a second. The audacity, the absolute soul-crushing nerve of this woman to ask me, the woman whose husband she was helping her other daughter sleep with, to throw the damn party. I could hear the hum of the refrigerator. I could feel the cold hard drive sitting on the desk next to me. And a slow, cold smile spread across my face. It was the first time I had smiled in weeks. I made my voice sound all happy and bright. I said, "Oh my God, Mom, I would love to." "For Nicole? Of course. I'll make it the most beautiful shower anyone has ever seen." And I meant it. It was going to be a party nobody in that family would ever forget. After I hung up the phone, I made another call to my cousin Terrell. Terrell's my first cousin on my daddy's side. He's a tech genius, works in cybersecurity downtown. He's always been more like a brother to me than Nicole was a sister. I met him for coffee at this little spot in Grant Park. I didn't even have to say much. He could see it on my face. He just looked at me and said, "What's wrong, Ken?" For real. So I told him. I told him everything. I didn't cry. My voice was low and steady. When I was done, he just sat there, shaking his head. He was quiet for a long time. Then he looked me dead in my eyes and said, "What do you need?" I told him I needed everything. I needed to know what they were saying now. I needed to know what they were planning now that they thought I was distracted with this baby shower. He slid a little box across the table. Inside was a USB stick, no bigger than my thumbnail. He said, "This is a keylogger. You got to get it in the back of his laptop one time, just for a second. It'll install itself and he'll never know it's there. From then on, everything he types, every email, every password, every chat, it'll get sent right to a secure email account I'm setting up for you." He looked at me again, real serious. He said, "You sure you want to do this, Ken? Once you see this stuff, you can't unsee it. There's no going back." I just picked up the little USB stick. It felt heavy in my hand. I said, "Terrell, I've been gone. There's nothing to go back to." Getting that thing in his laptop was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. I waited till he was in the shower one morning. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get it in the port. It was in for maybe 5 seconds. I pulled it out, put it in my pocket, and walked out the room, my heart hammering against my ribs. And just like that, I had a live feed into his betrayal. The next few weeks, planning that shower was my cover. I was on the phone with vendors, looking at venues, picking out color schemes, pastel yellows and greens. My mom and Nicole would call me all excited. "Oh, Kendra, that sounds beautiful. You have such good taste, sis." And I just smile and say, "Only the best for my sister and my new little niece or nephew." And every night, I'd open that secret email account Terrell set up for me. And I read the emails Marcus was sending Nicole from his work account. "Can't wait to see you tonight, my love." I'm only with her out of obligation. You and the baby are my real family. I read the chats he was having with my dad, my own father. Marcus was asking him for a loan for $5,000 to help with some of Nicole's baby expenses. And my dad was agreeing to it, giving my husband money to take care of my sister's baby. The financial strain was real because Marcus had been draining our joint savings account, little by little. 200 here, 500 there. It was all going to her. I saw the Zelle receipts. Over $10,000 in 6 months. Money I thought we were saving for a down payment on a bigger house. A house for our family. All of it gone. And the health stuff, man, the stress was eating me alive. I wasn't sleeping. I lost like 15 pounds. I started having these crazy heart palpitations where it felt like a bird was trapped in my chest. I went to the doctor and she said I had dangerously high blood pressure. She put me on lisinopril and told me I needed to eliminate the stress in my life. I almost laughed in her face. Eliminate the stress? Lady, the stress was my whole damn life. But I kept going. I had the hard drive, and now I had the live keylogger feed. I was printing everything out. I had 3 binders full of evidence sitting in a storage unit I rented over on Memorial Drive. It was my secret arsenal. I was almost ready. I just felt like there was one more piece. Something was still missing. When I opened that envelope, that's when the final piece of the puzzle clicked into place. I was looking through the documents I'd printed, cross-referencing hotel dates with credit card statements. It was late, probably 2 a.m. My eyes were burning, and I saw it. A hotel folio from the Westin, the one in Buckhead. From a weekend Marcus was supposed to be at a conference in Charlotte. He'd booked 2 rooms. I saw his name on one, and on the other, it wasn't my sister's name. It was some other dude's name. Jamal. Why did I know that name? And then it hit me. Jamal was the husband of Nicole's best friend, Brianna. Why was Jamal there? I started digging, man. I went into a rabbit hole. I found Marcus's phone records. So many calls to Nicole. But there were also a bunch of calls to another number. I Googled the number. It was registered to a Jamal Wright, the same Jamal. And then I saw the text from the keylogger. Nicole texting Marcus, Jamal is getting suspicious. We have to be more careful. And it all just exploded in my head. The timelines, the money, the secrecy. This wasn't just about Marcos and Nicole, it was bigger. I looked back at the pictures, the ones of them at the hotel, and in the background of one, you could see Brianna's car, her custom pink Range Rover, parked in the hotel garage. And I found a Zelle payment from Jamal to Marcus for $2,000 with the note for our investment. Our investment. It wasn't an affair between 2 people. It was a damn criminal enterprise with 4. And the baby? Oh God, the baby. Kevin, Nicole's husband, he's a good dude. A little boring maybe, but he adored her. He was so damn proud of that baby. But the dates, they didn't quite add up. Kevin was out of the country for work for 3 weeks during the time Nicole would have gotten pregnant. I remembered cause he brought me back a little souvenir from Dubai. I pulled up the calendar, I looked at the hotel receipts for Marcus and Jamal, and I looked at the doctor's estimated conception date for Nicole's baby. And my legs just gave out from under me. I had to sit down on the floor. The baby wasn't Kevin's. It wasn't even Marcus's. The timing lined up perfectly with Jamal. They weren't just cheating on me and Kevin. They were cheating on each other. And they were all in on it together, trying to pass Jamal's baby off as Kevin's. The level of deceit, it was staggering. It was biblical. And I had it all. Every receipt, every text, every picture. I had the whole sordid story printed and organized in 3-ring binders. The baby shower was in 2 days. It was time to go to war. The day of the shower was beautiful.
A perfect Atlanta afternoon in early May. I'd booked a private garden room at this fancy spot in Buckhead, Serafina's. It was all glass walls and hanging wisteria. I went all out. Pastel yellow and green decorations, a string quartet playing softly, a tower of macaroons, a bartender making mom-mosas. It looked like something straight off of Pinterest. I played my part perfectly. I was the doting sister, the gracious hostess. I hugged my mama at the door. I told my daddy he looked handsome. I kissed Nicole on the cheek and told her she was glowing. She really was. She was sitting on this big white wicker throne I'd rented, opening gifts, just soaking up all the attention. She looked so happy, so untouchable. Marcos was there, playing the role of the supportive brother in law. He came over and put his arm around me. He whispered in my ear, "You did a great job, baby. This is beautiful." He smiled at me, that fake, empty smile. And I just smiled right back. I felt nothing, just a profound, empty calm. Kevin, Nicole's husband, he was walking around looking so proud, his chest all puffed out. His whole family was there, the Holloways. They're good people. Old money, very proper. They were all cooing over Nicole and talking about their first grandbaby. Brianna was there too, of course, playing the role of the best friend, helping Nicole with the gifts. She had no idea her own husband was the father of the baby she was celebrating. The whole scene was so twisted, so profoundly fake, it was almost funny. Finally, after all the gifts were opened and everyone had eaten, I went up to the front and tapped the microphone. The little feedback screech made everyone quiet down. I smiled this big, bright smile. I said, "Hi, everyone. Can I have your attention for just a moment? I just want to say a few words about my big sister, Nicole." I looked right at her, sitting on her throne. "Nicole, we haven't always been the closest, but you're my sister, and I love you. And I'm so, so happy to be here to celebrate you and your new baby." People were awing. My mama was dabbing her eyes with a napkin. I let the moment hang there for a second. Then I said, "I have one last gift for you, Nicole."
It's a very special one. It's something I think you'll want to remember forever. I walked over and handed her this big, beautifully wrapped box. It was from Tiffany's. I'd bought a vase and thrown it out just to use the box. She looked so excited. She carefully untied the white satin ribbon and lifted the lid, and everyone leaned in to see what it was. Inside the box, on a bed of tissue paper, was an 8x10 high gloss frame photo. It was the picture of her and Marcus, naked, in my bed. Her face, it just crumpled. The color drained out of feet. She looked up at me, her eyes wide with panic. But I wasn't looking at her. I was looking at the back wall. I had a little remote in my hand. I said into the microphone, my voice still calm and sweet, "Actually, I have a few more memories I'd like to share with everyone." And I clicked the button. The big, flowy white curtains behind her wicker throne dropped to the floor. And behind them was a wall. A wall I had spent the night before covering with pictures. Dozens of them, all blown up and mounted on foam core. Pictures of Nicole and Marcus at the hotel. Pictures of the Zelle receipts. Screenshots of the text between Marcus and my mama. The $5,000 loan agreement between Marcus and my daddy. Pictures of Brianna's pink Range Rover in the hotel garage. And right in the middle, a huge poster-sized printout of the hotel folio, with Marcus's name on one room and Jamal Wright's name on the other, right next to the conception date circled in red. For about 3 seconds, there was dead silence. You could hear the string quartet trail off, one violin at a time, and then all hell broke loose. All hell broke. It was Kevin who moved first. He let out this sound, a roar. It wasn't even human. He looked from the wall to Nicole to Marcus. And he screamed, "Is the baby even mine?" Nicole just started sobbing, these big, ugly, gulping sobs. Then Kevin's father, Mr. Holloway, this distinguished looking older man, he just walked straight over to my father, who was standing there looking like a ghost, and laid him out with one clean punch. My dad just dropped like a sack of rocks. My mama started screaming. Then Brianna, she saw her car in the picture. She saw Jamal's name and she just started screaming, "Jamal! Jamal!" She lunged at Nicole and they went down in a heap of pastel, yellow, and green tulle. People were yelling. Someone knocked over the macaron tower. Champagne glasses were shattering. It was chaos. Pure, beautiful, righteous chaos. And in the middle of it all, I just stood there by the microphone for a second. I took one last look at the wreckage of my family. I saw Marcus backed into a corner looking terrified. I saw my sister on the floor, her perfect little world burning down around her. I saw my parents, my mama trying to help my daddy up, both of them looking at me with pure shock and horror. They finally saw me. And then I just calmly picked up my purse from the table, walked out of the glass doors into the beautiful May sunshine, and I never looked back. The aftermath was swift and clean. There were 3 divorces filed within a month: mine, Kevin's, and Brianna's. Kevin's family, the Holloways, they don't play. They immediately lawyered up and demanded a paternity test the second the baby was born. And surprise, surprise, it came back a 99.9% match to Jamal. They sued Nicole and my family for fraud and emotional distress and won a settlement that basically wiped my parents out. Marcus got fired from his job because Mr. Holloway was on the board of his firm. He had to move back in with his mama out in Conyers. I hear he's working at a Home Depot now. My family, well, they're not my family anymore. They tried to call at first. My mama left these long crying voicemails. My daddy sent these texts about how I'd shamed them. I blocked their numbers. I blocked them on everything. It's just silence now. It is what it is. And me? I took my half of the money from the sale of the townhouse. I moved into a loft apartment downtown with a view of the city. And I started my own business. A consulting firm. I call it Phoenix Consulting. A little on the nose, I know, but it felt right. It's been a year now. My life is quiet. It's peaceful, but it's a real peace this time, not a fake one. It's a peace I built myself from the ashes of the life they tried to burn down. Sometimes I wonder if it was worth it. The pain, the loneliness. But then I look around my office at the life I made, a life that is completely and totally mine. And I know the answer. I didn't just get revenge, I got my damn self back. And you can't put a price on that. You just can't.
Thank you, Kendra, for sharing this story with us. Chile, that was a whole hurricane in a Tiffany box right there. A woman who had a quiet, peaceful life discovers that the whole foundation was rotten underneath her feet. And I'm telling you, for her own people, her mama and daddy, to decide she was the one strong enough to be sacrificed for her sister. Now, that's a pain that cuts deeper than just about anything else. That ain't just betrayal, you know. That is a profound lack of respect. What can we all take from this? The mistake folks stay making is thinking the strong friend or the quiet child don't need no looking after. People be forgetting that the person who holds it all together for everybody else also needs a soft place to land. Seriously. Being strong ain't an invitation for folks to keep on piling on the hurt. What was she supposed to do? If I had to break this down for somebody going through something similar, it's this. When your spirit tells you something ain't right, you better listen. Kendra felt it at that Sunday dinner. And then she started looking for the truth with facts, not just feelings. See, she documented everything. I'm just saying that ain't about being messy, folks. That's about protecting your mind and your future when things fall apart. And listen, when she heard her own parents say her heart was basically collateral damage, she knew she couldn't just disappear. A rule to remember is this: don't let nobody else write the final chapter of your own story. Honestly, she took back her own life. She didn't just walk away from all that drama, she walked toward her own peace. And that right there is the real justice. If this story gave you something to think about, go ahead and subscribe and hit that thumbs up. It truly helps the channel reach more folks who might need to hear these stories. Let me know in the comments which city or state y'all watching from. And right now on the screen, you're going to see other videos from the channel. Click one and let's keep going.